Hey everyone, welcome to Kingdom Builder. Glad you could join us today. I'm excited for our special guest today. Joining me from the new film Sound of Freedom, I have director Alejandro Monteverde. Alejandro, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, and I'm very glad to be here.
Well, I am so glad to have you here, and I've got a chance to see the powerful new film that you directed. It's called Sound of Freedom. And for those who have not heard about this film yet, can you tell us a little bit about it?
You know, it's a film about conviction. It's a story about a former federal agent who leaves everything in order to go save children around the world, because he believes that children are not part of one nationality; they're part of the world, of our planet, and we need to protect them. So it's a heroic story based on a true story, and it's a cinematic odyssey into the heart of darkness. But at the end, there is hope.
Right, and hope is a powerful thing, especially when you're looking for that. The movie stars Jim Caviezel, and I, for one, have long been a huge fan of him. And many remember him as playing Jesus in the Passion of the Christ movie. And when Jim joined the cast of this film, what was your initial reaction to his casting, and what was it like working with him?
Well, Jim is a man of conviction. And when I met him for the first time, I didn't know how personal this movie was for him. He's already rescued children himself, his own children. So for him, the story was very, very personal. The minute we started talking, I saw how touched and how emotional he got. So as a director, to have an actor that knows this story better than myself, it's nothing but a blessing. So it was an incredible honor to work with him. And again, he took the film and the character to a level that is very deep.
Right. And the one thing I've noticed about his films over the years is that he kind of plays the underdog hero in the films. I can think back to the Count of Monte Cristo. He played Edmond Dantes, which was, wrongfully imprisoned, and came out of that situation with hope. And the same as playing Jesus in the Passion of the Christ. We all know what Jesus went through us up in leading to the cross and the death and the crucifixion. And it seems like he's just really embodied that character. And once again, he does it in this film. He's that character that comes up and is, convicted and is full of hope that he can do something. And I love how he does this in this film with this role. And it was a very believable role. I mean, he really embodied that role and made us all feel, at least with me, made me feel a part of that journey, like I was really there with him.
Yeah. For me, there's two kinds of movies: the movies that I want to make and the movies that I'm called to make. And this was definitely a calling. But then I realized that there was like an army coming build up together. Everybody that was joining the film, they were feeling that this was a calling. And there's no question in my heart that this was a calling for Jim, because of how he dove into the character and into the story.
Right.
And we went into this odyssey. The film is an odyssey into the heart of darkness. I mean, it starts in the US and we end up in the Amazons. And you don't even know, next thing you know, you forget. Sometimes me as a filmmaker, I'm watching the movie and I'm like, wow, I forgot that we started in like cement and we finish, in the heart of darkness somewhere in the Amazons. So that journey in itself, that's how was our journey into the story, diving into the subject matter. Right. And I realized one thing: yes, human trafficking and child trafficking, it's a massive problem. But we have another problem that I didn't know about. And the other problem is good people knowing about it and doing nothing about it. That's also a massive problem. And I didn't want to be part of the problem. So that's when the minute I found out about this darkness, I decided to light a candle with this movie. We can curse the darkness all day long, or we can light a candle. And for me, audiences watching this film is their way to light a candle in this darkness, because the minute we create awareness on this subject, awareness creates change.
Exactly. And, Sound of Freedom is an amazing film and deals with, as you mentioned, the fact that slavery in the form of human trafficking still exists in our modern world. And, the story is based on a real life person named Tim. And how did Tim's story end up in your hands and later on as a full length feature film?
So around 6 years ago, I saw a news report on child trafficking, and I was moved to write a story on this subject. So I started writing a fictionary story, from scratch. I created all these characters, just based on fiction, but exploring this subject matter. And then I was 2 months into it when the producer of the film calls me. He says, "Have you started writing the script?" And I say, "No, yet. We just finished the outline, myself and my co-writer, Rod Barr." And he says, "Well, stop. I want you to meet Tim Ballard." And I think he met Tim Ballard at a conference. He was one of the guest speakers. Next thing you know, I'm in front of Tim, and I realized when a true story was better than fiction. And here we are, years later. And he's a hero. He was a man a man of a game. All of this is about conviction. And he's definitely a man of conviction who is willing to leave everything to rescue children around the world.
Right. And, I must admit, I teared up a few times during the film because I guess the subject matter was shocking to me. Like, how in the world does this still happen in today's society? It's like it's unbelievable. Yet, like you said, people, a lot of people are aware of it and just sit back and do nothing. And there's a quote that has come up in the years, and it's attributed to Edmund Burke. It says, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." And
Yeah.
I really feel that that's the case with this, is that people are aware that this is happening. They just kind of put a blind eye to it because it is something that is uncomfortable to talk about, but needs to be talked about,
Yeah. And when people ask me, what can I do? This is for me, the biggest calling that I call out to people is, we have a movie that we're coming out in July 4. And July 4 celebrates freedom and independence. But it's a day of blockbusters. All the biggest movies with hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing are coming out that day. And here we have a film that has the potential to become a movement and to create awareness on this darkness. So it's very important that the audiences go and see the film on opening weekend, because it's just very simple. If we get crushed by the big blockbuster films, we get kicked out of theaters within a week. So if we want to stay in theaters and we want this film to have legs and spread its message, we need the audience to go opening weekend. That's the most important, because once they go, then the movie will speak for itself. Then people have seen it, and then the word of mouth kicks in. So it is extremely important.
Exactly. And, this movie's been labeled as kind of like a thriller / drama, but I think people will be surprised to see when they see it in the theater that there is a few comedic moments in the movie to kind of lighten things up. And there's some action and all that kind of stuff. So it's really a great movie. And I would describe the film as a must-see, powerful film. And although it may focus on some of the darkest aspects of the human heart, it needs to be brought to light. And I feel that it needs to be seen and highlighted, because people need to know that this stuff is still happening around the world, whether they see it or not with their own eyes. So, Alejandro, when people go and see this film, what is the biggest thing that you want them to take away after leaving theaters?
Well, even though it's a dark subject matter, one of the things that I've been hearing from people is they leave inspired. One of the films, somebody say, "Hey, this film had the same impact that a movie like Schindler's List had on them." Schindler's List had a massive impact on me, and it's a dark film, but I left inspired. You know, at the end of the movie, when Schindler realizes that he rescued 10,000 people, but he could have sold his car and saved one more. I left him inspired because I questioned myself, what am I doing for others? And this is a film that, you know, even though it's dark, it ends with hope. And I like to make movies that begin when the movie ends. So when people leave the theater, they feel inspired to know and to do something about this subject matter, which is very simple. You can just talk about it. That's the beginning. You know, awareness creates change. So that is the goal, and I'm just very excited because, you know, we've been screening the film all through America for the last 2 years, and the reaction has been incredible, from all ages. You know, I've been amazed to see even very young people to be moved to their cores when they watch the film.
Exactly. And I felt not only inspired after I saw it, but I felt educated more so because, like I said, I'm one of the people that are aware of that this is still going on, but I just didn't know the extent of it. The movie really highlights that. And I'm really hoping and praying that that's what people can get out of this. And you guys have created an initiative with this film, you know, paying it forward and having folks buy tickets for other people to see it and stuff like that. But how can people get involved with the film, and where can they get more information for it?
You can just go to our distributor, which is another, you know, heroes on this journey, because we needed people to be partnered with people that believe on this film, and we partnered with Angel Studios, and they don't love the movie, but they believe in the movie and they believe in the movement, and they're really putting everything they have into the film. So they can go onto their website, and in there's many ways. They're doing a lot of pre-selling tickets, but there's many ways that offers of how to get involved into the movement.
Awesome. Well, I am praying that the Lord does big things with this film, and in fact, I know He will, because as it's quoted in the movie trailer, God's children are not for sale, and people need to see this. People need to go and see this while it's in theaters and support films like this that are not only just an experience in the movie theater, but so much more beyond that. When the film's done, like you said, the work really starts at the end of the film. And it all starts with you, it all starts with me, and it starts with everyone who sees it. So I pray that God does big things with this. Alejandro, thank you so much for joining us today. Sound of Freedom comes out here in a few short days on July 4th. So please make plans to go see it before you see those fireworks and help join a cause that is worthy of your time. Alejandro, thanks so much for joining us on Kingdom Builder today. May the
thank
Lord
you very
bless
much.
you. Yes, thank you. May God bless you and do big things with this film, brother.
Thank you for your support.